Welcome back, trainers. So, Shadow Pokemon have just become more viable. Just as I was finishing my last video going over Pokemon that you probably want to TM away frustration for the upcoming event, they dropped this information, which is probably better for me, so I didn't just get up a useless video. So let's go ahead and take a look. So Shadow attack bonus is going to be 1.2 times more, so they're going to be doing more damage. This is actually good news, but the downfall is they're actually going to be taking more damage with lower defense. And then the purified attack for Shadow is going to be ×1. So basically, purified Pokemon are going to be doing a little bit more damage to Shadow Pokemon. As well as the candy and power-up cost for Shadow Pokemon has been reduced. We're going to be taking a look at that to see what we have going on here. So this is very exciting, guys. When Shadow Pokemon were first introduced, we were very hyped for those, and they're still amazing, especially if you do get yourself one of those shinies. But for the most part, they were just way too expensive to invest in. Some people did go ahead and power up their, say, 98 or 100 Shadow Pokemon and even purchase a secondary move. And if you did do so, that's amazing. But I feel for you because that was going to be one expensive investment as opposed to a whole lot of reduction as of now. So where does this leave us? Are Shadow Pokemon actually going to be viable for going up against raids as well as PvP? We're going to be taking a look at that because there's something quite amazing that I did notice, and that is going to be the fact that the weather boost and the shadow boost are going to stack. Now, obviously in PvP, we do not get any sort of weather boost, so do keep that in mind going forward. But we're going to be going over the Pokemon that you may want to be focusing on and things that you do possibly have in your inventory ready to go for this event in which you're going to be able to TM away frustration. Now, taking a look at the reduction here, it was at 300,000 Stardust to purchase that secondary move on a legendary, and now it has been reduced to 120,000. Still expensive, but it may just find usability if you, say, have a 98 or 100. Now, taking a look at the Scizor here, it is only going to be 90,000 Stardust to purchase that secondary move as opposed to it was like 120,000 Stardust. So quite a significant reduction, as well as the power up is going to be a lot cheaper. Now, what is the benefit? As we've seen, it's going to be doing more damage, but because they're going to be taking more damage with that lower defense, is it actually going to be worth it? And not only that, you definitely do not want to be investing in one of these Shadow Pokemon that are going to have lower IVs. Now, that's your prerogative if you want to go ahead and do that, but personally, for the investment that it is going to cost to do this, you're probably definitely going to want to stick to the higher percentage IV Shadow Pokemon to invest in because of the steep cost. Now, as you can see with the weather boost plus the shadow boost are stacking up here. We're looking at a +7 for the quick move, and then when we move over to PvP, we can see that obviously the weather bonus is not applied. That is simply going to be for gyms and raids. Now, is this going to be worth it investing in a Shadow Pokemon that you say already have a maxed out normal one of because of that lower defense? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right off the bat, not really so much. It's going to help it out a little bit, but it's just so expensive. They did reduce the cost, which is very amazing, but at the end of the day, it's just not really going to be worth it. Some Pokemon are certainly going to be worth investing in if you do have a good IV Shadow, like say a Bagon. And when we do get another community day at the end of the year rolling around, Bagon, Beldum, Larvitar, all of those are going to be amazing. Even Dragonite, those are definitely going to be Pokemon you're going to want to invest in if you do have good IV percentages on those. Now, other safe Pokemon that you're going to be able to TM away, and which we're going to be going over this event so you have a better understanding here as to what's going on, are going to be Community Day Pokemon, especially the starters, all right? As far as the other Pokemon, I will say that if you do have a good IV, then you could probably go ahead and TM away frustration if you're sitting on a plethora of charge TMs like myself, over 150 at this point, thanks to Go Battle League. And then we have Abra Community Day coming up, so that's another one you may want to be focusing on for sure. As far as all these others, don't go too crazy, guys. These are still a pretty big investment, and although that bit of attack bonus is going to be luring you in kind of to wanting to invest in these, it's probably not going to be your best interest to do so for all of these. Porygon, another Pokemon that I think is going to get a community day that should be safe. All of the legendaries that you've gone from Giovanni, personally for myself, I'm going to TM away all of the frustrations on them when this event does roll around, just having them lying in wait just in case we have some sort of IV increase feature in the future. Larvitar is another one that you can possibly go with. Magikarp for sure too. A Mudkip is something you definitely want to put on your list for sure. bag on into finally Salamence if the community day does roll back around. TM away Frustration and being prepared with those are going to be pretty much something you want to do. Now, this is granted if you have a good IV. If you don't have a good IV one, then don't bother, right? Like I said, I'm personally going to go ahead and do some of the horrible IVs in case we get some sort of IV increase in the future. Therefore, I'll be able to fix them up, but that is far-fetched and really just reaching in the dark there. Another Pokemon that's going to be coming to mind is going to be Drowsy into Hypno, because Hypno already has pretty good defense, and with a lower defense on it, but with a raised attack, you might just find some better usability. Yet again, you're going to want to have ideal IVs for PvP, and we know Hypno is not that great going up against raids. Then moving on, looking at the current Shadow Pokemon here, guys, Snorlax might be another option. If you do already have one of those maxed out, then you're going to definitely want to TM over to this. And if you already have it powered up, well, then there you go. But things that you definitely want to be focusing on, like I said previously, are going to be Community Day Pokemon. Go ahead and TM those away from Frustration when this event does roll around. Just being prepared. Another Pokemon that could be beneficial to this could be Ralts, eventually evolving into Gardevoir with Charm. As we know, Charm is going to be an amazing move in PvP, and with a little bit extra attack buff, it's just going to be doing that much more damage, but with the cost of having less defense, which is going to allow it to drop a little bit faster. Other than that, basically just hold on to those Community Day Pokemon and prepare yourself here. And we're also going to be going over the fact that there's a Shadow Egg found in the code. So Shadow Pokemon are going to be becoming more prevalent and looked upon as something that we're definitely going to probably want to start powering up, at least getting ready to do so. All right, and this event is going to be going down March 7th on my birthday. Let's go. From 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. your local time, so you're only going to have a 3-hour period to do this. So much like the Lickitung Raid Day, people forgot that you had to evolve it during that time period to receive that special move. So make sure you do not miss out on this March 7th, guys, between 2 and 5 p.m. your local time, in which you're going to have increased amounts of grunts as well as team leaders. Also Giovanni. Now you're not going to be able to find multiple Giovannis. What I believe is going to happen is the fact that you're going to be able to find it a little bit easier, and there's not going to be that many decoys. Also, the return of all Shadow Shiny Pokemon. Now, it's not going to be guaranteed, but when you do go out there and battle these Rocket Leaders, you have the chance of running into one of the starter Pokemon, not starters, but the first Pokemon that they do have in their lineup that we've previously seen throughout the past few months. And another tip that I have for you regarding the Shadow legendary Pokemon that Giovanni does have. So basically the IVs are random. You could get a good one, but I have a little tip here, and that is going to be going up against him and defeating him while that specific Pokemon that he does have is going to get a weather boost. So currently Entei, so it probably would be within your best interest to go up against him and take them out, and then catch Entei while you do have that weather boost to at least guarantee yourself decent IVs. Now, going over what they're going to be talking about here, during the takeover, you'll be able to use a charge TM to change Shadow Pokemon's exclusive attack Frustration over to other charge attacks that the Pokemon can learn normally. And then they go on to say if you do TM away the move Frustration on a Shadow Pokemon and then decide to purify it, that move will go into return. So make sure you do not do that if you're looking to invest in that specific Shadow Pokemon. You're also going to be getting twice the amount of Stardust going up against Grunts as well as Team Rocket leaders. And then you'll have the Team Rocket music playing in the background, which I can appreciate. So guys, this is looking pretty amazing. Shadow Pokemon are now viable, all right? Is it going to be an extreme game changer? I don't think really too much. Maybe for some sort of cases, specific Silph arenas that are going to regard specific types that can get the benefit if you do, say, have the perfect IVs for the PvP and that specific Pokemon. Otherwise, don't worry too much about it, right? It's definitely a feature that you want to pay attention to, but don't stress too much over it if you do not have a great IV Shadow Pokemon. And also note that you're not going to be able to trade them, so you can't just, trade with a lucky friend and then get good IVs as a lucky Shadow Pokemon. So that is actually going to be ruled out, unfortunately. So guys, this is going to be quite amazing. Going down March 7th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. your local time. Get ready, because this is pretty big, especially for the Shadow Pokemon enthusiasts. And also, if you had yourself a completely maxed out Snorlax, Tyranitar, Dragonite, which I've seen plenty of people posting pictures as well as sharing with myself. Now, in the code, they did find a Shadow Egg. What is this going to mean? Are we going to be able to hatch Shadow Pokemon with good IVs consistently? How are we going to actually be able to obtain the Shadow Egg? These things are yet not known to us, so we'll just have to wait and see. We can take guesses all day, possibly dropping from the grunt stops that are taken over, that are corrupted. Maybe it's going to be a reward after defeating a team leader, a very small percentage, or maybe you might even get it after defeating Giovanni himself. We'll just have to wait and see. But if you're looking to invest in one of these Shadow Pokemon currently, I would say go for the ones that are going to have the higher IVs, obviously, as well as possibly Pokemon that are going to receive a community day in the future, the ones that we previously went over. Because even if they did receive a community day and you're like, well, their community days came and gone, well, think about the end of the year. Niantic likes to push all the community days if we do get that, so you will have those on hand ready to go. So there you have it, trainers. Pretty interesting stuff. As more information does come out about this, I will be keeping you posted. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.